Well, hey, here we go, live. Oh, I might adjust that camera just a little bit. Get a little bit obsessive about my framing. I don't want too much empty space above my head. Yeah, it's Thursday night, and we are Nettie. It's on your fourth Godfather. You're hitting it hard tonight. All right. I got my orange juice and grenadine. It's yummy. I mean, the orange juice and lemonade last night was good. I just said this impossible. I've got this grenadine I made in the fridge. Maybe just a splash of that. And it's really yummy. It's very good. Pomegranate syrup, essentially. It's good. I like it. It's good way to start the evening. We'll have to see where the evening takes me drink-wise. I don't see myself having 4 drinks tonight. But given it's Thursday, which is basically Friday, which might as well be the weekend, I think I might have a drink or two. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Coasted through last night without drinking alcohol. So who knows what will happen. Was it Tuesday night I tasted, and I've still got my clarified cocktails here, both of which are very good, and there is several drinks worth of both of them left. So I may well have them. I might mix something as well. It's wide open. It's wide open. Who knows what's gonna happen? It's a wild and crazy world where anything could happen. So we shall take it as it comes and see what the world presents to us. I haven't heard from Aidsy today. That doesn't mean I won't hear from him. But kind of if I haven't heard from him by now, often that means I'm not going to hear from him. But we shall see. Who knows? He might show up. Maybe if we say his name. I think, with Aidsy, you set the webcam 3 times and he might appear. But I might also do the Angry Bunch for that matter. I feel like I have not done Angry Bunch for a while because I probably haven't. Did I do it on Sunday? I don't remember if I did it on Sunday. Might not have done it since last Friday night, which seems a bit much. Or did I have like 1 or 2 people on Sunday night? I don't know. Everything, beyond yesterday, today, tomorrow, I can't really be expending brain energy on when things happened, because time has become an increasingly abstract concept in this COVID world of ours, having such a hard time remembering if something happened a month ago or 6 months ago or 10 years ago. It's very, very, very strange times we live in. And we just got to keep on keeping on and see where that gets us, essentially. Hey, Locust Trooper, just chilling as per usual. So I was like, are there any fun news headlines? Yes, the quarantine coronavirus outbreak is turning to shit. Ew, truck driver crashed and was killed and the truck burst into flames near the South Australia Victoria border. Dang. Today Show senior producer charged with sex assault. Dang. Not that I'll just okay, I'm gonna pay for Murdoch. No, I am not. So, yes, oh god, the Trump impeachment trial, pointless as it is, uh, continues to just be a shit show. Who gave Sebastian Gorka a go on Australian TV? So let's see. It was on Sky. He got upset someone at Sky was asking tough questions. Wowzers. Sebastian Corker can't take it when a conservative says, Trump's full of shit, isn't he? Yeah. Megalich, hello. How are you? Yeah, bloke stripper. Shit's fucked up, yo. So it just doesn't seem to be any big stories. Let me see. Joe Biden orders sanctions against Myanmar. Yeah. Because of the coup. Oh, that's right. We had a tsunami alert earlier today, which was then a non-event. Annette, hello. You must have come back, did you? It's often off to a slow start, man. I mean, you yourself often don't come in till later in the stream. It's just a case of seeing when people are able to join. Yep, there really doesn't seem to be any significant news stories being reported. It's funny, Gina Carano getting fired from The Mandalorian for just being an offensive piece of shit. The two stars from The Mandalorian with super different stories on basically the same day. The Mandalorian himself promoting his trans sister and saying how proud he is of her, and she's great and all, and this absolute idiot. Is this Gina Carano? I always get her name wrong. Gina Carano. After a succession of racist and homophobic and transphobic and bigoted shit, does the classic white conservative shit of, being a conservative is just like being a Jew in the Holocaust. And away she goes. It's ridiculous. And hello, Abigail and Robot Man Greg. Good to see you. I mean, and you get the typical thing from the conservatives saying, she's fired just for having an opinion. It's like bull fucking shit. People did not want to be seen to endorse her really repulsive, obnoxious ravings. And when you are a high-profile company employing someone and that person goes around publicly with deranged conspiracy theories and bigotry, you are at least implicitly supporting them if you continue to employ them. And so when the conservatives say, she's fired just for having an opinion, it's like, no, she's fired for being shit. And when they say, you should be allowed to have any opinion, it's like, so you just ask them, so if she or someone else was going around publicly endorsing you know, pedophilia and child murder, and actively promoting how child rape and murder shouldn't be a crime and it's just natural and we should all embrace it. Would you be supportive of that? Do you think she shouldn't be fired if she goes around publicly saying that? You go, would that be ridiculous? Of course that's different. You go, well, is it different? It's just that that's an opinion that you can't bring yourself to support. Whereas the opinion she got fired for is one that you happen to agree with. So it isn't that you actually think people should never be fired for their opinions. It's just that you get upset when it's someone you agree with. And that's just, gives you an offensive little piece of shit. Kelsey King, I have no idea if Aidsy will be here tonight. I haven't heard from him. Like a stripper, you have to ask if I'm in the middle from right to left. No, dude, I'm loony left, extreme left. Smash the state. Defund the police. All politicians are bastards. There should be no such thing as billionaires. Everyone who has profited to that degree from capitalism is guilty of crimes against humanity. And they can gussy it up as much as they like and go, oh, look what I'm doing for charity. Go, you are also directly profiting from absolutely hideous abuse of huge numbers of people. And you are of the devil. So no one should be a billionaire when they are amassing that wealth off the labor of people who can't afford to live, essentially. So, Locust Trooper, is there something on the left I don't like? See, that's too open a question. It's what something? What is something on the left? Are there some people who say they're left that I don't like? Yes. Are there some tendencies that people on the left have that I don't like particularly tankies? If you're unfamiliar with the term tanky, it's people who call themselves either communist or socialist, and they are so obsessed with the idea of communism good, they defend the totalitarian regimes, e.g. the way the Soviets rolled tanks into countries that wanted any independence, and hence we call them tankies, because they excuse the communists using tanks to suppress people who wanted independence. Big Bad Ads, not a narco-communist, narco-syndicalist, yes. Yes, Abigail, tankies and trots. An anarchist friend of mine way back in the day had this line that I just found hilarious, because for those who don't know, Trotsky was part of the Soviet regime. He was eventually, Stalin decided, an enemy, and I think he fled Russia. My history is actually really shit. I think he actually fled Russia, and Stalin had him assassinated, ice pick in the head, stabbed through the brain with an ice pick. And so this friend of mine used to have this line. It would be a great one for upsetting Trotsky. Goes, why did Trotsky get stabbed in the head with an ice pick? Because he was a fucking trot. Annette, Chomsky was a tanky. I don't know enough about Chomsky to know how tanky he is, actually. Chomsky says a lot of good stuff. I'm sure he says stuff that I disagree with as well, but I don't really get that into Chomsky to know. Yes, Abigail, exactly. We're an anarcho-syndicalist commune. We take it in turns to act as a kind of executive leader. Oh my God, that whole thing will never be not funny because it's true. That's actually a really good explanation of anarcho-syndicalism and the ridiculousness of a monarchy. The idea that the monarchy is in power. You never forget, the reason the monarchy is in power is because God said they were better than the rest of us. So fuck that noise, honestly. And it's split. That's more about the socialists, honestly, in the life of Brian, the different factions, People's Front of Judea, and the Judean People's Front, and the Popular Front. Uh, I think might have most directly probably been inspired by splits among various Palestinian liberation organizations and possibly also Irish liberation organizations. But even just generally, the socialists in unis and whatnot. Celtic King, am I an anarchist? I'm a collectivist. It is, I wasn't joking. The most accurate label for what I think would be the most equitable system is anarcho-syndicalism. Hellion, hello, Kirsten. Are you in Sydney or Melbourne? Is the big question. I think I saw you were posting from an airplane, which would make me think you're in Melbourne. So, anarcho-syndicalism is when people organize into self-governing collectives or syndicates, and then there's an amount of free association between the syndicates, and there's not, a government over the top of everyone. There's a collective mutual aid, and that's what I think would be a lot more reasonable than anything we actually see in the world now. What history has shown us is that it is possible, at least on a small scale, but those in power and the middle class have a tendency to freak out and go, oh no, I'm going to lose my money, and they will ruthlessly crush these sort of free associations. Kirsten popping to say hi on the way to go hit on a guy in a bar. Your husband, yes. No, you should absolutely just go and hit on him in a bar. That sounds like an excellent night out. And Abigail, you're meant to be on a date. Oh, having to look after a teenager. Yep. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes, the going out is actually ill-advised, and one needs to be on board with the offspring. It happens. I hope he's okay tomorrow, so we get the patient wolf visit happening. But well, hopefully you can reorganize your date without too much trouble, Abigail. Because you shouldn't really be punished for doing the parent thing. It's doesn't really seem fair. So hopefully it's not too big a drama. Okay, excellent. He's going to your ex's place for the weekend. So tomorrow on like Donkey Kong. Celtic King, you're watching a pastor who calls people that follow that system devils. Yes, the old anarchist saying is from each according to their abilities, to each according to their needs. Like basically expecting everyone to do the same is ridiculous, because not everyone is in the same situation. Some people will be able to work more on given days, and the people who for one reason and another can't should not be frowned upon, and everyone should have their basic needs met. And again, when you say to each according to their needs, isn't to each according to their selfish whims, it's their needs. So there is no reason in this world for anyone's needs to go unmet. And I think is that those basic needs, food, clothing, and shelter, but also basic levels of comfort as well. There is absolutely no reason that people can't have basic levels of comfort. It's just this ridiculous wealth hoarding, and the core of capitalism is keep us all scared that we'll lose our jobs and whatnot. And it's completely unnecessary and unproductive and absolute bullshit. Like I said, the idea that there are billionaires whose profit is built on the backs of people who, in the case of countries like, Australia, America, European countries, can't support their family from that job. That is just straight up criminal. Like, no one should be a billionaire when they're profiting from that level of exploitation. And then when you get to the outsourced stuff, whether that be in China, India, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe in some cases, or the Middle East, where it's basic slave labor. It's rarely chattel slavery, but there are work conditions that are essentially indiscernible from slavery, and the person has no freedom. They are like grossly underpaid. In many cases, they are essentially kept prisoner, and countries in the West profit from that. Is bullshit. Locust Trooper, yes. Oh, man, nice. The 3D printing continues to go apace. Sell 400 cups. Excellent. So you've really hit on a winner with that. It's excellent work. And it's good that you have the action happening in these uncertain times. Always like good news stories. Yes, Annette, debt slavery, that's another one. Getting people in debt so they're actually going backwards all the time because of the interest payments. It's ridiculous. Yeah, that's a good point, Abigail. Bezos, worth 300 billion, and his workers aren't allowed to take bathroom breaks, and the system isn't broken; it works as intended. That's the thing. Bezos should be in prison. The whole system needs to be destroyed. It's basically no company should make a profit at the expense of the people who work to produce for that company. So basically, everyone that company relies on should have a living wage, and the company doesn't get a profit until after everyone has a living wage. It's like the idea that is a radical prospect, that someone should be able to rake off billions of dollars by treating people like absolute shit. It just does my head in. Yeah, Celtic King, wealth hoarding should be illegal. Like I said, it should be as straightforward as, no, you don't have a profit because here are these people who don't have a living wage and you rely on them. They all need to get a living wage, and then, maybe you get profit. It's just, it's sick. It is absolutely sick what happens. Locust Trooper, when did you send me a MacBook? I'm supposed to get You should have told me that you'd sent it. I'm supposed to get notifications that anything's got delivered to my post office box, and I didn't get any notifications. Safa, hello, good evening. Yeah, so that's my radical politics, that people should not be able to profit from the exploitation of others. It's pure and simple. If you need someone to fulfill a role, that person should earn a living wage. And your company should not have any profit until everyone who contributes to the revenue for that company has a living wage. And I include the people in other countries. I include the people who are mining for the rare earth minerals and the other obscure shit that goes into this. It's absolutely criminal, the exploitation that happens under capitalism. Abigail, you need help. Been listening to the Smiths a lot. It's doing your head in that Morrissey is a piece of shit when he sings like an angel. Well, to the best of my knowledge, he wasn't a piece of shit when he was singing with the Smiths. He turned into a grumpy old bigoted man, much like John Lydon did. He's just one of those people who turns into a piece of shit in middle age. So I just think like young Moz and old bigoted Morrissey are different people. And also, because I listen to the Smiths, I just like forget about Morrissey. He's only any good because Johnny Marr was there putting everything together. So you're not listening to the Smiths for Morrissey. You're listening to the Smiths because Johnny Marr turned everything into magic. Morrissey would have been nothing without Johnny Marr. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. Basically, everyone who worked with Johnny Marr after the Smiths, and that was a lot of people. He collaborated with a lot of people post-Smiths. They all say, oh my God, this guy, Jesus. Now I know why the Smiths were so good. Yes, Robot Man Greg, another point. The big companies don't pay tax. So U2 protesters are still at U2 pay taxes too. Oh, God knows what U2 do. Celtic Women should eat the rich. I don't think they taste very good. I think they're very toxic. Oh, yes, Abigail Christ Shatner's another one. You'll do some things and you think he's awesome, but then he'll just be this stereotypical grumpy boomer piece of shit. Yep, Shatner is a challenging individual. I tend to think the boomer piece of shit is the real him. But yeah, don't really have a lot of time for Shatner. There's a point. Look, we don't have to enslave the rich. All that bullshit about how the rich, they were the entrepreneurs, the risk takers, they did it for themselves. If the people who made them rich, as in the people who produced, who were necessary for their companies to produce wealth, if all of those people had a living wage, like I said, they don't even have to be rich. They just have to have a living wage. They need to be paid enough to live in the city where they work and support a family. That's a living wage. One job where you can support a family and afford to live in the city where you work. When that's not happening, it's fucking criminal. It's absolutely fucking criminal. And needs to be stopped. Shannon, hello, good evening. And Celtic King, I am just finishing off orange juice and lemonade with a little bit of grenadine in it. Homemade grenadine, aka pomegranate syrup. I just got really confused. I thought it's something that starts with a P. It's pomegranate. Pomegranate juice turned into a syrup. And that actually worked really well. That was really yummy. Thursday. Might crack one of these. Just need to get a glass and some ice. So Big Bad Ads. Soviet Union was a good thing for us in the West because it kept upper class on their toes, more willing to concede concessions to lower class. Okay. Counterpoint, Big Bad Ads. That is a good observation. I've just been listening to some historical podcasts recently, and you can make a reasonable case that the Bolshevik Revolution was largely not responsible, but contributed massively to the rise of fascism in Italy, Germany, and Spain, because definitely all the rich people, but also the vast majority of the middle class got freaked out by the Bolshevik Revolution and thought they were going to lose everything. And they were much more comfortable backing fascists than they were with the idea, oh no, it might go communist here. So, counterpoint. Okay, you met Shatner. He asked how your day was. Well, that's nice. Well, Celtic King, good old Henry Ford was a big believer in the living wage. He was an uber capitalist, but he was like, well, of course you've got to pay workers. How the fuck else do they buy anything? He would be mortified by what America is now. America's a fucking shit show, and we're not a huge amount better. Anyway, I'm going to get a glass and some ice. Glass and ice. Oh, right. Glass. Reserve and get some ice. Just a big old block of ice. All right. It's back. Jump back, Jack. Oh, okay. Okay. Safa, yes. The Reichstag fire was staged by Hitler and his supporters and used as an excuse to seize power. Yes, Abigail, old-timey capitalism is very tame compared to our current late-stage capitalism, which is right on the fucking verge of collapse because it's absolutely... oh, my God. My cork. Lucky I've got super glue. I'm going to have to stick that back on. Oh, this is probably going to be a bastard to get out now. Don't have the leverage. Well, I'm just going to have to drink it all. Is it coming out? Do I have to get my little grabber? Can't even tell. I'm going to get my little grabber to get this out. Where's my grabber? Where's my grabber? Where's my super glue? We've got little mini tubes of super glue. Because you know how it is with super glue? You use it once and you can never use it again. Because it just, everything gets stuck shut. Come on, let's do it. God damn it. Yay! Right. Let's super glue this cork back in the stopper. And I'm just going to have to drink all this because I don't have a stopper for it. Oh no, woe is me. That's probably about 5 or 6 shots of alcohol. I don't know. That's probably not that much, actually. That's probably 4 shots. Right. Oh, little baby super glues. Oh, God. Right. That there. Oh, I need something to puncture a hole in this. Can I do that? Will that do it? I don't want to get super glue all over myself. I can just see this ending really badly and me getting super glue all over my hands, and then having to spend the rest of the night doing this so my hands don't stick together. I know, I could use one of my cocktail skewers. They're very sharp. I also don't want super glue on my cocktail stick, but what are you going to do? Yep, well, that works straight away. Wipe the super glue off my cocktail skewer. Right. I don't know why I'm singing everything. Oh, Big Bad Ads, I don't think you're a tanky, no. Little bit of super glue. A little bit of super glue. Oh, fuck, it's really watery super glue. Almost got on me. Okay, well, hopefully that works. I'll leave that over there. Being very annoying. And, super glue. All right, it's probably nice. That's what I mean. Celtic King, off to eat. Enjoy your food, man. Safa, that's a good question. What happens after capitalism? I am not averse to capitalism in the sense of there's always some form of exchange. It's like, you have produced something that I value, that I want some of. I'm going to exchange with you something that I have produced that you hopefully value, and we can strike a deal. So I'm not averse to a currency-based system. I don't even think that everyone should be paid the same. You know, you can compete in workplaces for higher pay, but I come back to my absolute fundamental tenet is no company should be making a profit when they are making that profit by exploiting people. Everyone who is required for that company to operate should be making a living wage. It's as simple as that. It doesn't seem an unreasonable proposition to me. So, if the only change to capitalism was companies could not get away with fucking people over, that would be a massive improvement. You know, it would make me fairly happy. I want fundamental changes to the political system as well, because it's broken and corrupt, and political careerists are pieces of shit. But oh yeah, Abigail, a universal basic income. Yeah, and that would be companies paying tax. The other thing, companies not being able to dodge tax in the absurd way they do, because then and so you can automate the fuck out of everything if companies are taxed. Companies that use the robots are taxed to the point that people can get a universal basic income. It's just basically we need to get rid of the unfairness. And late stage capitalism is criminally unfair. It's despicable, actually. Those flavors. I love. Man, it's like because there's what did I put in this one? I put red wine in this, so it's got a very winey taste. It's basically rum and red wine. Those are the dominant things in this. And the initial taste is this very fruity wine taste. There's a few different fruit juices in here, so you've got the really fruity taste. And then there's the rum I used, which is an overproof pot still rum that has a very distinctive flavor. it's taken the really harsh edge off it. Because I tried having a sip of this 150 proof rum, like 75% alcohol rum. I tried having a straight sip of it, and it's fucking brutal. But it's been softened in this, and there's this really smoky element. So, Invisible Chicken, hello. I'm actually super bad at the words. Like whenever wine people are probably the wankiest, but spirit and cocktail people get pretty bad as well. And then they talk about the flavors that come from the things. I'm really bad at the right words. People, oh, it's got juniper. Oh, and there's some elderberry in there, and there's some citrus notes, and then there's an oakiness, and and it's like there's a banana, and I'm like, it's nice. I like the way it tastes. It's nice. That's about as sophisticated as my appraisal gets. It's like whether I like it or not. I like that. What is this stupid fucking computer doing? It's trying to get me to restart. No, I'm not going to restart. Piss off. Honestly. Might try and remember to do it after the live stream, actually. So, because just imagine it forcing restart during a live stream, which would make me really shitty. And we don't want that to happen. So, yeah. Is it raining? I feel like I can hear noise like it's raining. Was that supposed to happen? Or is it a game? Maybe there's rain in the game next door playing. What does Bomb say? Ooh, no, it was supposed to rain. Right, so it's raining. What's supposed to rain tonight? I think it's raining. No, there you go. There you go. Safa, do I have an SSD on the laptop? I have no idea. I mean, most laptops do, don't they? I do not know. Because I just bought a laptop. It's like, this is my budget. What are they selling that fits into that budget? I didn't buy an expensive laptop. It was like probably, I don't know, I think it was, how much was it? 1,300? 1,000? I don't remember. Yes, I know I can change the restart timing. I'm going to. It's saying we'll start at hours, but I don't leave the laptop on. I switch it off when I'm finished, so it never restarts. So I have to remember at some point restart the laptop. Okay, see, Abigail knows tech stuff. I don't. Modern laptops usually have an M2 drive rather than a solid state drive. I don't know the difference. I have no idea what the difference is. Usually this thing I got today. I went to the supermarket. There's like at a Coles, and they have a bottle shop attached. And because I've seen one or two good specials in their bottle shop, I regularly look and say if they've got a good special. And today, this little drink flavorers. I hesitate to call them cocktails, even though they are supposedly a Negroni, a Singapore Sling, and a Tom Collins. They're all say add gin. I'm probably not going to add gin to these. I'll probably add vodka to them. I think it'd be. I've only got good gins, and I think it would be a waste of good gin. Add vodka, but the reason I have these things usually cost. Like I think I threw a 3 sampler. These normally cost like $20. They're in the liquor land. 2 for $10. Absurdly cheap. So, and the other plus is I'll have another little bottle out of this when, wow, the packaging on this, how do I get them out? I think I need to rip the box. Shieldsy, you forgot the live stream. What's that about, buddy? So Abigail, an M2 drive is technically a type of solid-state drive, but it uses the PCI lane instead of the SATA connection, so it's much faster. Oh, and the whole thing with SSDs is supposed to be fast. Oh, it's glued in. That's why it wouldn't come out. It's fucking glued in. Jesus. So that's basically like some flavored sugar and some herbs in there. There's a cinnamon stick, some dried fruits. I don't know. It might be a decent flavor. I suspect the dominant flavor will be sugar. So, okay, this is a Negroni. Ingredients: sugar, dried cherry, dried orange peel, cinnamon stick, clove flavor, and color. See, I don't think this will be as... They're calling it Negroni, but I don't think it's going to be bitter like a Negroni. So I might actually like that. And it's pink. Pink. And right now I've worked out, once again, I'm going to have to... Yep, I'm going to have to rip the box some more to get this out. Fucking hell, honestly. Honestly, packaging, man. Why is it so hard to get? They even give you a little sieve because there's going to be a lot of crap in it when you do it, and so you can sift out the crap. God damn, this is really difficult. There we go. Do that. Yeah. It's in this one. I'm going to get the glue off the base. Ugh. Alright, glue. That really gummy glue that they put on things. So this one they call the Tom Collins mix. Has sugar, lemon slice, orange slice, dried cherry, and flavors. So it's got dried fruit in it, basically. Dried fruit and some artificial flavors. Abigail, you're hearing thunder where you are. And yes, so you better run, you better take cover. Can you hear the thunder? Shields, are you watching impeachment videos? Oh, I mean, honestly, Trump, if it was an objective legal proceeding, I think Trump would be convicted by the Senate. But it isn't a legal proceeding. It's a political proceeding. And they're just going to vote along party lines. I think some senators are going to... some Republicans, a small number, may vote to convict Trump, but it'll only be a small number. And so the impeachment will, in the end, be pretty much meaningless. But yeah, what a shocker that Trump has a really fucking bad lawyer. Again. So what's this one? Singapore Sling. It's got sugar, dried orange slice, dried pineapple, dried lime, and some flavors. So again, dried fruits. That's probably going to be the best one, I think. So yeah, that's my little tip. And this might have just been the local liquor land that I went to, although it might be at all of them. If this sort of thing is at all appealing to you, check out your local liquor land, and they might be selling these packs of 3, 2 for $10. Simple way to make a flavored drink. I hesitate to call it a cocktail because I think the dominant flavor is basically going to be sugar. But, you know, not bad for a party. Make yourself a couple of drinks. These say to, like I said, these say to add gin. I'm going to add vodka. Oh, Robot Man Greg, they had this at your Liquorland as well. There you go. Then it's probably at all Liquorlands. They also have some Australian spirits sample bottles for $15, and those sample bottles, like the 200 mils, they're normally $25, $30. They're worth getting if you haven't tried them. I mean, they didn't have anything I wanted. I got a 23rd Street Distillery whiskey because I wanted that. And the other ones they had were the brandy, which I already have, vodkas, which I'm not that interested in, and there was a Beanley rum, and I've got a bunch of rums, including Beanley rums, so I didn't get that. But hey, if you want to try an interesting Australian rum, if you've never really tried an out of the ordinary Australian rum, the Beanley rum, they're having a little sample bottle, $15 at Liquorland. Could do worse. So, Safa, how much money will Trump have after the lawyers? The same amount, because he's not going to pay them, because he's a fucking scammer. So already the stories he's refusing to pay Giuliani because he got pissed off at Giuliani. So the thing with Trump, he's a grifter and totally untrustworthy. Only people who align with him are other criminals, grifters. Have to decide if I want to keep these bottles because they're screw top, not stoppers. I really like stoppers. In some ways, screw top is more practical, but not as cool. What's that, Shieldsy? Trump support seems like going to get jail time from the videos they've shown us so far. Yeah, the videos have been pretty damning. Safa, can you easily tell grifters from personality they have? Well, that's a difficult question to answer because what grifters usually tell you is what you want to hear. That's how the grift works. And so your guard's lowered because it's like, oh no, they're cool. They know what they're saying. That's what I think. They're saying exactly the right thing. Is it easy to tell a manipulator? I don't know. I think Trump and his cronies are incredibly obvious grifters and criminals. But maybe if there was a grifter who targeted me and said things I want to hear, I'd be taken in a bit more easily. So I might put some vodka in this one because vodka's useless on its own. As Kirsten would say, vodka is just the sad story of a spirit that lost its chance to become gin. I know Abigail disagrees. But we'll see. Where's my vodka? Because this is not a particularly flash vodka. Just Smirnoff, which obviously is not terrible. But not that great as a, sipping vodka, in my opinion. I've got some Crystal Head vodka. That's a sipping vodka. That's smooth. I've also got a little bit of Tito's left, which is better than Smirnoff. Do I need a funnel or not? I'll be bold and try it without a funnel, and possibly you regret. I don't know. It's going okay. That's okay. There you go. That seems okay. Safa, a lot of people have the unfortunate realization that they have a family member who's untrustworthy. There you go. Okay, pink. This one's going to be Singapore Sling, very pink. We'll try and get all the sugar to mix in. Well, I'm with you, Abigail. If that whiskey bar across from your place, if we go there and they have a very small selection, one or two vodkas that they have regarded as the quality vodka, I definitely want to try them to see what someone who is all about the whiskey, what vodka they think is worth having on stock. It seems kind of interesting, but oh my god, that's good. Yeah, so I'll let that absorb flavor. I might have a taste of this tomorrow night. See how it is. Needs time for the dried fruit to exude their flavors, and the sugar's not completely dissolved yet either. But I want to leave that for at least a day. Get some flavors. Shields, in some ways, sounding like grooming his supporters, then fucking them, taking their money. Oh, yeah. No, Trump he's a classic exploiter and grifter. He told them exactly what they wanted to hear. He was lying the entire time. Trump despises his supporters. Trump hates his supporters more than I do because they're losers and they're falling for a really obvious con and they're just handing all their money over to him. And he is just an absolutely consciousless fucking criminal. It's ridiculous. Justin, what does it say about politicians who won't vote to convict someone who tried to kill them? It means they are married to an ideology and they have no integrity. And the ideology they're married to is not really their party ideology. It's their corrupt perversion of their party ideology. These are people who worship power for its own sake. They are the people, and this is true around the world, but it's definitely really pronounced in America. The people in power are by and large the least fit people to be in power. Like the majority of them are absolutely terrible people. They are absolute garbage. They are just awful. So, and that is the single biggest problem with politics. The people who are attracted to power are the people who should least have power because they're fucking awful. They are just terrible people. And the obsessive way they pursue power just really highlights how much they should not have power. But that's the system we're in. People like that. So what are you gonna do? But God, that's good. I love it when I have a drink and I'm just having a drink and it's like, I've drunk half of it and I keep drinking it, but still have another sip. Oh, fuck, that is really good. The flavors in that are great. I might do some really full-on milk punches I've seen recipes for lately. So like all three of the big drinks sites I go to for inspiration have had a feature article on clarifying cocktails recently, and at least two of them had this pretty full-on recipe for milk clarified punch, and I want to try them, or at least a version of what they did. Like they're literally talking about making just a huge punch bowl, the measurements they say, and I'm just going to use the ratios and scale it down to make a couple of drinks, instead of filling a big punch bowl, sort of fill a bottle about this size. So, yes, just to see, like, because one of them, I'd want to use this stuff for a while, because you not often, but you do get cocktails, and they say use cola syrup, and they basically say, like, put Coke in a saucepan on heat, and condense it down, like boil it so a lot of the liquid boils off, and you get a more concentrated cola syrup. This is actually already a concentrated cola syrup. So I'm gonna. One of the recipes had a cola syrup in it, so I want to do that. My lovely dame, hello. How are you? I am fine, thank you very much. Justin, I haven't seen any of that videos they've been showing. You say with Pelosi staff holed up in the office, and apparently to the Senate they showed that cop getting crushed by the Trump supporters. But yes, and that dude, the security guy Goodman, apparently saved Mitt Romney and Mike Pence's life by getting them to safety just before the lunatics broke in. Oh, this appeared in Coles. This is like for a soda stream. This appeared in Coles a couple of months ago. To not much fanfare. There's not much advanced thing. So they had like Pepsi Max, and Mountain Dew. So yeah, it's pretty wild. But yes, so it turns out Trump very nearly did get people, as in politicians. He very nearly did get some politicians killed by whipping that mob up. It was a very, very, very close thing. And again, typical narcissistic exploiter will never, ever, ever, ever admit to his responsibility in that, because he just doesn't see himself as having any responsibility to anyone else. It's just like this is what Aidsy calls bubble people. Trump is like the extreme bubble person. He lives in this very small bubble, and if someone actually comes into the bubble, he might acknowledge them and he might take them into account. But the instant they're out of his immediate presence, the instant they leave that bubble, he ceases to acknowledge they exist. It's real sociopath stuff. It's really fucking bad. It's half of the March for America, more like March for a Dictator. Well, what I found interesting recently is I've seen a few people basically smarter than me, and certainly have done more research into history and the history of politics and the history of fascism. And quite whenever anyone's asked me, is Trump a fascist? I've always said no, he's too lazy to be a fascist. He is authoritarian. He's absolutely authoritarian. And that's just because he's a narcissistic sociopath. And he absolutely used the fascist playbook. Like, and I mean to the letter. It's like he was reading the propaganda guides from Hermann Goebbels and just following them note for note. In fact, I'm sure some people who were advising him were doing just that. But I'd always said, no, I don't think Trump's a fascist as such. But I've seen increasingly people who know more than me go, oh, no, he absolutely is. He maybe didn't have the final bit of ruthlessness to see it through, but he's absolutely a fascist. Megalish, is there any surprise that the mob Trump ripped up turned out to be incompetent? What he ripped them up to? I don't know, dude. They very nearly succeeded. Like, they were minutes away from succeeding. It was quite disturbing, actually. And by succeeding, I mean they came this close to taking Senate and Senate staff hostage and possibly killing them. There were definitely and obviously people in that crowd who'd come in with the premeditated goal of taking hostages. and a lot of them were just talking shit, but they were saying stuff about, kill them, string them up. And I think there were a couple of them who are more than capable of being incredibly violent. Like, I really get the shits at the fucking drones online who go on about, oh, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. It's just, talking shit when she says her life was in danger. It's like, no, her life was in danger. If these fucking lunatics had caught her, it would have been very bad. If they had caught Nancy Pelosi, it would have been very bad. So, yes, that was something much, 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 much worse was very narrowly averted. So, I wonder who got Trump to make that video after all those hours. I'm not sure what video you mean. Oh yeah, My Lovely Dame. That there were actually two of them. I thought there was only one as well, but there were at least two of that crowd. And they're often, what he had was often referred to as zip ties, and then you had fuckheads like Ben Shapiro going, "Everyone's got zip ties in the house." Those weren't zip ties for normal use. Those were the police issue plastic handcuffs, and they had a bunch of them. And they were armed. They had guns, and it was very, very, very clear their goal was to take hostages. Yeah, My Lovely Dame. There were at least two of them. I thought there was only one, but when you look through some of the photos and video, there was at least two of these guys who had the plastic handcuffs. So, Jesus. Shieldsy flex cuffs. Yes, that is a better name for them. Yeah, but yeah, they have the two things to put a hand through, and it's very fucking scary shit. Oh my god, what is it now? God, it's only just gone 9. So tempted to have another drink because that was really yummy, and on another level, I think maybe I shouldn't, but ooh. It's good. I don't know. I do not know what I'm going to do. Maybe drink some water. Water's good. Water's definitely good. Okay. So, yeah, it's weird times we live in, basically. What is it? I'm saying? Oh, yes. Okay. The Joss Whedon allegations. Facts, basically. Allegations, unless they're proved in court. I don't know if you missed that, but yeah, Charisma Carpenter, who was in Buffy and Angel, made a statement that she's like, held it in for a decade or two and just had to come out and say how abusive Joss Whedon was. It's been clear for years Joss Whedon was a piece of shit. He and this is like on the records facts. He's exploited his position to have sex with actresses and whatnot. And yeah, but there's now a chorus of women, and I noticed the men are all being pieces of shit and staying quiet. But there's been a chorus of women talking about how abusive he was, and he's clearly just a piece of shit. Shieldsy, it's only 8 p.m. real time. Fair call. Fair call. So the march kind of felt like the French Revolution a bit. Well, if the French Revolution was actually the bourgeoisie attacking the proletariat, yeah. I love the you read about that this morning. Yeah. No, it's really fucking creepy that Joss Whedon's always been that, yeah, I'm a feminist. And it came out like 10 years ago that he was cheating on his wife basically constantly. He was exploiting his position to have sex with actresses. And yeah, now it comes out that he's a horrible, abusive, bullying creep. Absolute piece of shit. So yeah, so I really wary, and this is just a personal thing. When anyone asks me, "Are you a feminist?" I say, "Well, no, I support feminism, uh, but I think feminism is for women. I actively support feminists, and I know a huge number of people are completely okay with calling men feminists. It's just a thing of mine, and there's really two reasons. They say like I'm an absolute 100% unequivocal supporter of feminism, but I'm not a feminist because I'm not a woman. Same as I'm an active supporter of Indigenous rights, but I'm not an Indigenous activist. I support Indigenous activists. So for me, and it's arguably just semantics, they say, well, no, I don't call myself a feminist. I call myself a supporter of feminism. Second, there's just too many of these horrible stories about guys who are very publicly performative uh, feminists and keep calling themselves feminists who turn out to be absolute pieces of shit. I know of two cases in Australia. One, someone very famous in the Aussie hip hop scene who has repeatedly called himself a feminist and said he was going to do front this thing for feminism. He raped a friend of mine. And as I say, not I heard a rumor he raped someone. He raped a friend of mine. And then there was because I have these semi-regular YouTube meetups, and this dude showed up to one of them. He was not part of our regular queue. I don't know exactly how he got into it, but a group of people were back at someone's. I wasn't there. Group of people were back at someone's place later in the night, and this guy who was into the whole pickup artist bullshit, he took it to a really extreme degree and tried to rape one of the girls. And uh, so I had to tell everyone in the Facebook group, have no contact with this guy. He tried to rape someone at our last meetup. And I actually got a legal threat from, he got a lawyer to write a legal threat saying I had to retract it. And I was like, try it out, buddy. You're going to take me to court? Because do you know what's going to happen when you try to say you're not a rapist and then the person you tried to rape testifies? That ends real bad for you. So fuck you, you fucking. And I found out he was trying to posit himself as a feminist and was going to make this he had some big thing he was going to do about feminism. I was going, wow, you're a rapist, dude. And it's just I've just heard too many stories like that, basically. And so it's just got to the stage where I'm extremely wary of dudes who like wear a "this is what a feminist looks like" t-shirt. It's like, okay, cool. Maybe you're completely sincere. Maybe that you've never done anything wrong. There's a weird performative element to that I'm really not on board with. But yeah, no. Then there's been too many icky stories, and I just want to stay away from that. So, oh yeah, and incidentally, like this friend of mine who got raped by this guy who was in the Aussie hip hop scene, she really likes hip hop and Aussie hip hop, and she can't go to shows because she goes to say you see the Hilltop Hoods. They regularly have guests come out on stage, and there's too high a chance this guy will come out on stage, which would be a really triggering thing for her, obviously. So yeah, it's just ugh. It's just ugh. Abigail, I can't say the artist because he's never been charged, and so under Australian libel and slander laws, I always forget which is which. I'd be in trouble. But he makes me feel a bit chilly. Yes. If he had a spirit animal, it might be Chilly Willy the penguin. My lovely dame, I have no problem with that. You're saying, like, not trusting a guy who calls himself a feminist. Yeah, maybe they exist, but you can't trust them. Yeah, that's what I just say. I am absolutely 100% unequivocally supporter of feminism, but just on a purely semantic level, for me, I go, well, I can't be a feminist because I'm not a woman. And that's the core element of feminism. I can absolutely 100% unreservedly support feminism, but I'm not a feminist. So, yes, as I said, for those two reasons. One, because me and semantics, I love semantics and I love semantic arguments. And two, just too many creepy stories. Absolutely too many creepy stories. And even when they're not creeps, like I said, there's that performative element that I just can't get on board with. So, I think, I don't even know what time. Kirsten's gone. I don't even know if I'll be on a live stream tomorrow night. We'll have to see what happens. I am going to. Yeah, Abigail, as I say, too many male feminists get it really wrong. And I also feel like centering yourself like that in something you're not the center of is fundamentally wrong. So I try to avoid doing it. So I just remember. Everyone telling me to pirate stuff. Oh dear. Oh, I need to find this Facebook message. If where is it? I just need to find it. I just realized because I'm doing some stuff tomorrow evening and I don't know when it's going to finish. Sorry for having an early night. Goodbye. Thanks for dropping in, man. Yeah, I actually really want to have this other drink because I enjoyed that one so much. I actually think that one's better. So I want some fresh ice. Into the ice box. Sorry, I was going to break this chair just then. That would be embarrassing. Chunko ice. Closing up. Moustache hair came off. Yeah, this one. Not necessarily all of it though. Might do half of it. Pop. Goes the weasel. Start with that. Dun, dun, dun. Up we go. Might taste this if I do a live stream tomorrow night. taste this at the start of live stream. If I don't do a live stream tomorrow night, I'll do a party one on Saturday night. Shieldsy, got to tell a story one day taking down charity organization full of dirty money and fuck yes, man. I want to hear that story. I absolutely want to hear that story. Hate charities that are scams. You know, I've had enough time being civil to charities at the best of time because I am a cheap, tight-fisted bastard and don't like people asking me for money. But when they turn out to be scams, oof, I am really not happy about that. So, why my beard's so wayward? It always goes skew-if. And why can't it just grow straight? That's what I want to know. I could grow because I just trimmed it. I could grow it really, really long. Don't think Mrs. Angry would like it if I went sort of Ned Kelly level. Big old hipster beard. Don't think that would be very popular. Ooh, what did I put in this one? I put the Punta Mez in this. So this has a decent whack of an aromatized wine, aka vermouth. This one's really zesty. Yum. Lots of different flavors. I like it. Oof. That is really tasty. I'll make another one tomorrow, actually. It's got one more video to go, and so I've got to do the close-ups tomorrow. And just for a laugh, I'll milk clarify the one I make for close-ups. I'm trying to remember what it is now. Ah, yes, the Bitter Hearts Know Better. Hearts Know Better. On liquor.com. It's a gin one, I think, isn't it? Yes. It's gin and gentian. Yeah, gotta make that again tomorrow. Invisible Chicken approached by a born-again Christian today. Awesome. Were they trying to convert you or some such? Save your soul? Oh, yeah. It's funny. It's like it's got the aromatized wine in it. Kind of tastes like grape juice. Does not taste like wine. Because I don't drink wine because I don't really like wine. That's got like a bit like zesty grape juice. Because I use that overproof rum in there, it's got the smokiness at the tail of it all. Was that Shieldsy? It's a well-known charity that does good, but that branch was being run by a mafia gang. That often happens. Someone gets into a position to run like a semi-autonomous operation, and they do criminal shit. Oh, wow. So Visible Chicken, you're at a bus stop and they came at you with the pamphlets. Ugh. What did you do? Were you polite? Did you listen? Did you tell them to piss off? Did you say something to scare them? It's a long time since I've had someone proselytize at me. Like, I hadn't come to the door, like Jehovah's Witnesses or Seventh-day Adventists or something. And I just shut the door in their face. I probably said, fuck off. I might have been nice and just said no and shut the door and walked away. But and I just remember being miffed because I'm living in a Jewish neighborhood where like a really significant percentage of the people living there are Jewish, and these fuckhead Jehovah's Witnesses trying to proselytize. It's like, dude, that's so offensive. Like, I'm not even Jewish, and I'm getting really offended that you would pull this shit in a Jewish neighborhood. But I usually can't be bothered to really go off at them. Like I said, they come to the door, I'll just shut the door and just say, no, fuck off. Invisible Chicken, you told them you were an atheist, you would rather do good because it's the right thing rather than out of fear of punishment, but then the bus came and you couldn't explain. As much as he is a flawed person who makes flawed arguments, I am quite fond of Penn Jillette from the Penn and Teller Magic Act. And he's one of his good quotes on atheism was, when I say I'm an atheist, and we've had religious people say to him, like, without God, what's to stop you from raping and murdering people as much as you want? And he said, nothing. I rape and murder exactly as much as I want. And that amount is zero. I don't want to rape and murder people because I'm not a piece of shit, and I don't need a religion to tell me not to do that, because I just know you don't do that unless you're a piece of shit. Abigail, well, you had trots come to your door once when there was a local election. They were campaigning for the Socialist Alliance candidate. Ugh, awkward. Shields of the show, they kicked out the wrong person. You have big ears and a big mouth, and mother does that crap. You definitely got to get you on camera, and you got to tell the story. I want to hear it. Yeah, Invisible Chicken, that line, I've never been on board with that line. You're too weak to be good, and you're not strong enough to do it on your own. You need the help. And it's like, fuck off. That's so creepy. It's just so creepy. I dislike it so much. And I don't know if I told this story. I do remember at college once, I was living with my girlfriend in a flat, like block of single story flats. And it's like Sunday morning, and these fucking Jehovah's Witnesses come to the door. And who's at the door? And I got up, and it's Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm thinking, oh my God, go away. And it's like front door, lounge room window, but the bedroom window was also right on this footpath where they were. And so I opened the door and I, oh no, I'm going back to bed. And they're trying to be chatty, and because the J-dubs tend to have 3 generations of people when they go door to door. That's a psychological ploy, because most people psychologically, there's one generation they have trouble being rude to. Like, they'll have an old person, a middle-aged or young middle-aged person, and a young person. And this one, there was a young woman, 30, 40 something woman, and an old man. And a lot of people, they'll have, maybe they can't be rude to someone old, maybe they can't be rude to someone who might be mother, maybe they can't be rude to a young woman. But that's why they do this 3 generation thing, because it puts people off being rude. And so I just shut the door and went, no, I'm going back to bed. And the young woman, like, trying to say, like, they're still groovy, saying, oh, lucky you. And I went back into the bedroom, and my girlfriend was saying, who was that? I said, fucking Jehovah's Witnesses. And then I realized they were going past the window, and I said, quick. And I was just like jumping on the bed, bouncing up and down, making it squeak, and just saying, like, take it. And so she got into it straight away. Oh, fuck yeah, give it to me, big boy. just making really bad sex noises. Like, I'm not going to get a job doing voiceovers for porno, put it that way. But yeah, just to try and annoy the J-dubs as they went around, because they had to go past our bedroom window. So we made a lot of naughty noises while they went past. King, what stops God from raping and pillaging? Nothing if you read the Bible. And what do I think of televangelists and prosperity preachers? It's real lucky everything they say is a lie, because if the stuff in the Bible was true, they would be heading for eternal damnation. As it is, they should all be in prison. Invisible Chicken, too much just world theory and religion. It's crappers. Oh, wow. Abigail. You remember seeing your dad angrily chase Mormons away, brandishing a machete. Wild. Nice. Invisible Chicken, you knew someone who became a J-dub. Glad she didn't, because you have to cut out people from your life who are not J-dubs. I heard, okay, and this is a fucking weird thing. There was this cult known by a few names, and one of the names they were known as was the Family. And but there was also more than one group that was known as the Family. But these ones, it's like 70s, 80s was when they were most active. And they were this really creepy, sexually exploitative cult. And they would get young women in, and they would send them out fishing for Jesus. And that included sexual come-ons to men, like very strongly intimating, if you join the church, I will fuck you, and actually getting them to fuck men in the church. Just very creepy, exploitative cults, and thankfully, I think all the main people did get jailed. A guy I knew ages ago when I was in Sydney, there's a girl from some weird born again thing, and she was trying to get him to go to church, and she was like really attractive, and they're flirting and whatnot, and then she was going, oh, but I can't really get involved with you if you'd need to come to church with me. And he's like, oh, well, that's not going to happen, so I guess nothing's happening with us. And she was really put off that, the temptation didn't work. And she kept trying. And he's like, no, I'm not going to church. And so they ended up getting it on. And they were like having sex on the regular. And then one day she goes, like, and he said, it's pretty good sex. And one day she goes, oh, we can't have sex anymore unless you come to church with me. And he says, well, that's not going to happen. And she's going, oh, well, I'll have to leave. And he goes, okay, bye. And she like didn't believe, she thought, she baited the hook, as it were. And she's like picking up her clothes. I mean it. I can't ever see you again. And he's going, oh, well, too bad. See ya. And she couldn't believe it didn't work. But anyway. Abigail, I missed the bit about your dad being naked. He used to sleep naked. They woke him up, so he grabbed a machete, ran after them, screaming at them with a machete. Yes, that sounds hilarious. Sounds dangerously like your dad would end up in court, but it sounds hilarious. I remember someone who got busted years ago for feeding Mormons hash brownies. And there was a story just in the last week or so, someone claiming a cafe dosed them all, like they had brownies in the cafe that were laced with marijuana, and they all were tripped out. And it's like, okay, I guess it's possible, but it sounds really implausible that a commercial cafe would have hash brownies and would just randomly give them to people. That sounds very weird to me. And honestly, if they're doing that, they deserve to be prosecuted. You don't fucking dose people. You do not dose people. That is bullshit. But It sounds weirdly implausible to me. Abigail, so your dad did this. It was the early 80s and he was in the army. All right. So he was like super buff army bod and naked with a machete. Wow. I often think with my somewhat beanbag-ish physique, if someone like, because I sleep nude, if so now you've got that image in your head, try and get that image out of your head. I often think like if there was like a home invasion at night, I'd stand a pretty good chance of scaring them off if I just ran out of bed naked with my Buddha belly rolling around. I like to think that would scare them off anyway. They're just like breaking in. No, this is more than I bargained for. See ya. Howdy. The other defense, and I've never been attacked in this way, so I've never had to do it, but I was always fascinated with this guy, an article I read ages ago, this guy who did all these weird weapon stuff for movies, and he was always exploring self-defense techniques. He was an army guy as well, and he did this one. I'm sure I've told this story on the stream before about shitting himself, because it's amazing. In fact, he wandered in a dark park at King's Cross in the middle of the night by himself. These 4 or 5 guys came up to him and said, no matter how good a fighter you aren't beating 4 or 5 guys. So they come up to him. He said, I can shit myself on command. I can shit on command. And so he like just reaches into his jeans and shits into his hand and throws it at these guys. And he said it hit about 3 of them like in the face. One guy got it in his mouth. And one of them collapsed vomiting. And most of them ran away because they were just like, no, what? The guy just threw shit? And they couldn't deal with it. And they ran away, which is pretty funny in my book. Celtic King Toby ran after Mormon missionaries for not leaving him alone years ago. Well, man, if they don't leave you alone, that's not cool. That is absolutely not cool. They need to leave when you shouldn't have to tell them twice. It should be no, and they should fuck off. My weird experience with Scientologists in the deep dark past when I was in Sydney, and they took me to their center to do their e-meter readings on me. And I just thought, oh, this will be fun. And the questionnaire creeped me out because if the questions were given to you by someone who was very sincere about helping you, that would be all well and good. But these questions were basically designed to find out what you felt insecure about and what your weaknesses were, essentially, particularly your psychological weaknesses. And as I was doing it, I was going, this is fucked up, because if you were at all vulnerable and answered this honestly, these pieces of shit would know exactly how to get to you. And I just thought, oh, weird. And I thought, I'm going to answer truthfully anyway and see what they say. When I was insecure about something, I was insecure about it. And it's a long thing, you do it. They came back with all these results, and it's like, you're fucked up and you need our course. And I just laughed and went, wow, I'm really fucked up. I'm beyond help. No, I'm past help. No point. See ya. And they're, oh, no, we can help you. No. And it got boring pretty quickly. And I said, look, I literally I was unemployed and I had no fucking money. When I bumped into this guy, I was looking for an ATM to take out my last $20 in the world. And then he was trying everything like, oh, you can put a down payment. And I was going, no, I can't. I literally, I was getting my last $20 in the world. I was going, oh, it could just be something. Goes, no, you're not listening. I'm not employed. I do not have any money. The tiny amount I have, I can't give to you. And it's, oh, you don't want to listen. And I thought, okay, this is getting stupid. And we're in this little room, and he'd arranged the table so he was sitting between me and the door. And I just realized, oh, this guy's just not going to stop. This whole thing is to wear you down psychologically. He's not going to stop. So fuck it up. He's not going to let me finish this politely. I'm just going to leave. And so I just pushed the chair and got, no, I'm just going. And then he stood up and blocked the doorway. And I just, okay, that's too far. And I do a very good Iceman voice, and I just went, "You want to get away from the door. If you attempt to physically prevent me from leaving, it will end badly for you, and the police will be involved." And then he went, "Oh no, I'm not." And he stepped down and was like, "You fucking were, you fucking piece of shit. You deliberately blocked the doorway. You're making it as hard as possible for me to leave. And if I hadn't had directly called you out on the fact you were blocking me from leaving, you would have kept blocking me from leaving." And it's like, man, Scientology is fucking dangerous. Okay, sometimes they seem like a joke, but they're not. In the words of I forget where, I think it was a judge in England who made a finding against him. Scientology is not a religion; it is a dangerous cult. So Celtic King, Toby changed his tune. He likes going to the Mormon church and reading scriptures with the missionaries. Oh well. Okay, even though it's no, still 20 minutes. The stove just started. Oh man, what was that? The packaging from this thing. The stove's making its stupid noise. I have to hit the button to make it stop because it will drive me crazy. And as much as the Fine Young Cannibals made a hit song out of that, I don't want to be driven crazy. So, oh, that's good. Okay, so Abigail, you've been watching the Scientology TV series by Leah Remini from King of Queens. That's some scary shit. Yeah, I haven't watched that one because it's on Netflix. Yeah, because previous exposés I've seen of Scientology have largely been shit. It's yeah, it's weird. I often see people trying to take down Scientology and they fail really badly, which is weird considering how fucked Scientology is. Should be really easy to take him down, but yeah. So Shieldsy just brainwash drones. Oh yeah, it's a long running scam, and they do classical manipulation and brainwashing techniques. Celtic King, even though Toby likes to hang out with me, still thinks the Mormons are weird. Yes, I like to refer to Mormons as the Ralph Wiggum of Christianity. They're the special, they're the special kids of Christianity, because the sort of core Mormon beliefs are embarrassingly stupid. Like the founder of Mormonism, Joseph Smith, was so obviously a con man, so obviously a grifter. Like it's super fucking embarrassing. Which is weird because individual Mormons and even groups of Mormons can be good people and they can do good things, but Mormonism is just dumb. It is so stupid. Like it's intelligence insultingly stupid. It's like flat Earth level stupid, basically. And yes, I basically feel that about all organized religions. Like, no, dude, that shit's just dumb. It's obviously not true. But Mormonism is next level. Mormonism just takes it to a whole new place. Abigail, not on Netflix. I'm sure Netflix had a Scientology thing. And yes, Scientology is very litigious. Scientology, Netflix. Yeah, no, Aftermath by Leah Remini is on Netflix in Australia. So yeah, that's the one. The one you're watching, Abigail, is actually on Netflix in Australia, or was, because I've seen it there. I just looked it up, and it was on Netflix. Again, with my semi-regular unpaid advertisement for the podcast Behind the Bastards, Um, he has multiple episodes about L. Ron Hubbard, um, because he just laughs. Like, he loves L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard is, in his book, the most extreme grifter of the 20th century. He loves the absolute audacity of L. Ron Hubbard's unrelenting bullshit, like such obvious bullshit. And L. Ron Hubbard just went 1,000% with his bullshit. And there are multiple episodes behind the multiple episodes of Behind the Bastards on L. Ron Hubbard, just because he's a wealth of material, because it is such a wild story. So, and yeah, the host, Robert Evans, is usually just laughing the entire time when he's telling the story about shit L. Ron Hubbard did, because it's just wild. So, Celtic King, first thing Mormon missionaries teach is the first vision. They don't tell you about the other 8 or 9 versions there are. Yeah. Joseph Smith just kept changing shit. Book of Mormon obviously teaches the Trinity. Mormon Church no longer teaches the Trinity. Okay. I thought, again, as flawed as they are, there are some good South Park episodes, and the South Park episode on the founding of Mormonism is pretty good, because it highlights how fucking stupid the Mormon origin story is. It's just like ridiculously stupid. And yet at the same time has this Mormon family being really nice and happy. It's just that they believe shit that is dumb as hell. So, yes. Shields, you reckon most charities are scams? They stand on street corner. Oh, no, fuck those people. The charity muggers, the chuggers, fucking hate them. Hate them. Because, again, they do these manipulative techniques. They act like they want to be your friend. And it's like, fuck you, man. You don't want to be my friend. You want my money. And you're doing this shit where you're behaving in a way that a friend would behave to try and make me feel like I'm rude if I don't treat you like a friend. It's like, well, fuck you. I can see what you're doing, and you want rude, press me, motherfucker. Because I'm just going to walk past you going, no. And if you won't leave me alone, and 1 or 2 of them have not left me alone, and I have rounded on them and I said, no, fuck off. But yeah, because, you know, the charity muggers are mostly backpackers who are doing it very short term for money. Like, so a large chunk of what you're giving goes to them, which again, in and of itself, is not a terrible thing, because, you know, people got to make a living. But that whole thing is bullshit. And 1 or 2 of them have been exposed as massive scams. Like, there was one from a few years ago. These people got busted. A big thing they said is like, they were collecting to help people with disability, and they had it's like, we want to have a rehab center for people on disability, and they raised the money they raised. They were, paying the backpackers, but the money they raised, they bought a beachfront house with it, and they used to just go and have parties at it, and and this went on for a while. And in fact, the only reason they got busted is because they were having really loud drunken parties in this house every weekend, certainly every weekend in summer. And the neighbors complained, and the police investigated and said, this is supposed to be for a charity. And then they checked into it, and it was obviously not a rehab center for people with disabilities. They were just having parties there all the time, and Yeah, it was just one big massive scam, and then they got away with it for a couple of years. But I think the key people probably went to prison. Jesus, there we go. You once hissed like a cat at a chugger. Nice. Yeah, and as I say, I also feel a bit bad for them because most of them are poorer backpackers. I will not off the bat be really angry at them. But if they won't just fucking let it go when I say, no, I'm not interested, I will tell them unequivocally to back the fuck off. Yes, and that's the other thing, Abigail, is that most people will cancel the donations in the first year so money doesn't actually reach the charity because the first bit goes to pay the people who got it. Yeah. Shields, you're good at ignoring the chuggers. So, hey, mate, start doing that. Look the other way. Yeah, no eye contact. And like I said, if they won't let me go, I'll just say no. And if they won't fuck off, I will tell them to fuck off. Because it's not fair. They, like I said, they pull this bullshit where they abuse social norms because they behave in a way that I want to be your friend. Oh, you're not rude, are you? You'd want to be my friend, wouldn't you? Fuck that. No. If they push it, I don't feel bad about telling them to fuck off because they're the ones who abused social norms by behaving like they wanted to be my friend when they actually just want my money. That's what I'll say to them. I was like, just stop the bullshit. You don't want to be my friend. You want my money. I don't want to give you my money. I'm not giving you my money. And if they won't back off, then I'll tell them to fuck off. So, yeah, I find that whole shtick with wanting to be your friend, it's just so offensive. It fucking pisses me off. Oh yeah, invisible chicken. I don't answer my home phone. No human rings my home phone. It's always scam calls. I listen, and I occasionally get scam calls on my phone. Like Mrs. Angry doesn't answer numbers on her mobile that she doesn't know. I do because I'm registered with so many job agencies for contract work. Could always be someone whose number I don't know calling, so I'll always answer. Man, they're really impatient if you fuck with them. The scam callers, like I just started laughing at one, and they hung up straight away. And one of them is like, I want to talk to you about security on your ANZ bank account. I don't have an account with the ANZ. And I just went, yes, this is an important conversation about my account with the ANZ bank that I definitely have that absolutely has a large amount of money in it. And they hung up when I was in the middle of taking the piss out of them, which I thought was unfair. I thought it was very uncharitable of them to hang up when I was in the middle of taking the piss out of them. Celtic, I don't think I ever use the home phone. It rings occasionally, and we always just ignore it. So I don't know. There'd be like 1,000,000 to 1 shot where there would be a reason to use the home phone, but it just sits there. It's part of our broadband internet. The phone line is connected to the modem for NBN. So, yeah. Celtic King, nice. You look him in the eye and tell him to fuck off. Since they use the dirty tactics, they deserve the abuse. I will usually give him a chance. I will usually give him a chance and just go no. And if they fuck with me, I will really turn on them and say, no, I said no, fuck off. Yeah, exactly, Abigail. If you know it's a scam, you're not the target. As soon as they realize you know it's a scam, they'll hang up. I loved it. I heard this explanation of why people like those various, particularly in America, is full of those right-wing scammers, people like Alex Jones, who are trying to get you to, they suck you in with their hyperbole and then they try and get you to buy their really shitty pills. And it's like rational people go, this is obviously horseshit. They want you to self-select out. When this explanation I heard was great. It's like these people, they're actually, the reason they're saying this outrageous shit, that's a filtering thing. If you can see that it's outrageous, They know you're incredibly unlikely to buy their shit. So they make it really outrageous. So you self select out. And then the only people they draw in are basically incredibly gullible people, uh, which is evil, quite honestly. So there we go. NBN recently tried to force you to install their connection. Told them to fuck right off. You have fiber that's owned by the ISP. Wow. Wow, that's rare. See, I didn't have a choice because I was with Telstra and they just literally said, you don't have a choice. We're changing you to NBN. But I actually won the NBN lottery. I had a cable for Foxtel that I was getting internet through, and it actually wasn't very good in this house. It had been better in the previous house. Like I moved here about 4 years ago, and I think it was in the first year of living here. They said, we're going to force you onto NBN. And I went, oh, pricks. I go, oh, might as well bite the bullet. And it was actually considerably improved when I went on to NBN. So I won the lottery because a lot of people get it much worse, but I actually got it better. Yeah, that's it, Megaleech. Yes. Make the scams dumb. If you don't realize it's dumb, you're the target. Yes, another one, Invisible Chicken. Yeah, how do people believe the ATO would accept payments with iTunes vouchers? Yeah. Oh, they just get vulnerable people and gullible people. I still remember the original Nigerian scam. It was fucking clever, because it was actually a full page ad in major Australian newspapers. Like basically that straight up Nigerian print scam that still shows up in emails sometimes. Like, I'm the prince of blah, 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 and I've got this money and I just need someone to da, 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 da. And they put it in full page ads in major Australian newspapers. And I mean like The Australian, the Sydney Morning Herald, The Age. And what that did psychologically is, fuck me, a full page ad in the paper is really expensive. This must be legit. So they would have outlaid easily tens of thousands of dollars to get this placed, right? But what they bought was credibility. People saw this thing and it was a full page in the paper. And they saw it and went, Jesus, well, they must be legit, like to have a full page in the paper. That's not cheap. And it was like, ring this number to help Prince Matumbo put the money in. And they fucking hooked a lot of people. And yeah, and because it was at one point, it was a new scam. It was a new scam and people didn't realize it. And it actually got a bunch of people. But yeah, it was the audacity of taking out these full page ads that it just, it bought credibility. Oh, wow. Oh, see, okay. Harvey Norman put a full page ad on the front page of the paper today. The papers often have those wraparound front page ads these days. Yeah, I mean, 2 points. It's a known brand. But second, advertising in newspapers now is a fuckload cheaper than it was in the 1980s. Because in the 1980s, that was it. Like, without exaggeration, advertising in the major papers in the 80s probably cost 10 times more than it does now. They're so desperate for ad revenue now. They'll do that thing where they have a wraparound ad around the paper. And, you take that off and then there's the real front page of the paper. But that's how desperate they are for money. They never would have done that in the 80s because newspaper, particularly newspaper classifieds, was a license to print money in the 80s and into the 90s. The internet obviously killed that. It was really weird. The classified business went just from, it was just free money. They made the buying the newspaper was a sideshow. That was nowhere near as important to them as their classified advertising. And of course, the internet reduced that to zero. It's like absolutely worthless now. Kilter King, you know people who fell for similar scams. And the similar scams have kept coming back for years and years and years. Lonely Hearts scams are another one. They seem to work equally well on men and women. People, desperate for love, get set up by someone. It's weird. Scammers fucking suck, man. They're such bad people. Anyway, on that cheery note about the original Nigerian scam, I'm gonna go to bed, and may or may not see you tomorrow night because I actually have some stuff on in the evening, so I'm not sure what time I will be home. So I may or may not be on tomorrow night, but if I'm not on tomorrow night, I will be on Saturday night. So if I miss out tomorrow night, I make Saturday night a party night, and we'll take it from there. Love you, Kilter King. Night, everyone. Everyone, take care. Good night, one and all. See you again.